welcome to When Creativity Knocks. I'm here with author, journalist, and two-time Emmy Award winner, Miss Deborah Norville. How are you?
Good morning. I am so excited to be here.
I'm excited to see all this
show.
fun stuff. And we're at the Premier Yarns booth. And Deborah has this great new collection out called Serenity. And I'm actually wearing a piece from some of her yarn. And before we start talking about the new brand you have, let's talk a little bit about sort of your history and how you got started with needlework. Because people are usually just used to seeing you as, you know, the pretty face behind the camera.
The lady on TV.
Yeah.
What the people never knew is that the lady on TV, when the camera was off, was oftentimes sitting over in the corner of the studio, furiously knitting away. In fact, one year our Christmas gag reel at Inside Edition, every so often they would have bloopers from different people, and meanwhile back in the studio I was making Christmas stockings for my kids, and so I didn't know they were taping me, so I was just feverishly knitting away, and then they'd go back to something else and they'd come back and I'm still in there knitting. I have been doing something in needlework probably since I was 4 years old.
Because you do a lot of sort of family-oriented things, right? Like your mom taught you when you were young and you taught your daughter.
Well, my mom taught me when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My parents were in the carpet business, and we spent most of our time away from school at the office. And really, Mom used kind of the textile babysitter. So she had her sewing machine down there. I started making Barbie doll clothes. By the time I was 9, I started making clothes for myself. And actually, it was sewing clothes that opened the door to my television career. I was in the America's Junior Miss pageant and representing my hometown and then my state, and you had to have talent. I didn't have any talent, but I could sew, so I figured,
well, that's
what the
talent.
heck?
Yeah.
Well, it was all I had, so it was all I could work with. And I made a bunch of outfits, had photographs taken, had sort of the slideshow going on while I pranced around on stage, and dang if I didn't win. So that got me to the national pageant, which was televised. And there were the guys with the cameras and the lights and all this stuff. I thought, whoa, this is cool. So sewing opened the door to my career. And meanwhile, this was always my therapy. This is a hot water bottle cover that I made. This is what I gave people for Christmas. Feel how soft it is. Isn't that great?
I need one of these.
You need one of these. I can't have it. But if you're nice, in fact, you can go to my website and I've got the pattern. You can download it. But this was always therapy for me. When my career was going down the toilet, this would help me stay sane. When my career was so busy that I was like manic, this would help me stay sane. And that's why we've named this collection of yarns Serenity. Because what I've realized is when I'm knitting, when I'm crocheting, when I'm doing any of those kinds of pastimes, it calms me down. It centers me. You know, it's sort of a mindless thing, you know, clickety, 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 click. And I'm thinking grocery lists, I'm thinking what do I do with my kids, I'm thinking how do I strategize to get that interview that I'm trying to get. So for me, knitting has been just this wonderful kind of balancing influence across the board in my life.
So the name is perfect. I mean, it pretty much goes along with, like you said, the whole reason you enjoy knitting. And I mean, what's great is you've already written books.
Right.
And now there's a new one out. We have the Knit with Deborah Norville, and it's 18 different classic designs, and it's for the family. So it's great that you're doing this family-oriented thing, and you have kids, right?
Right, I have 3 kids.
And you've taught them how to knit?
Well, my boys are probably not going to be learning how to knit, but my daughter is learning how to knit. In fact, at her school, she goes to an all-girls school, and every November we have a community service project, and it's so much fun. The cafeteria is filled with balls of yarn and lots of needles and moms and daughters, and what we do is we knit squares for blankets that we sew together for foster kids who are being moved from one place to another. The idea being, you know, we all want our security blanket.
Right.
These kids are in such utter transition that these blankets are kind of one of those comforting things that no matter where they go, the blanket comes with them. So that's one of the things that she's been doing.
What a great idea.
She's not, you know, she's not at the level yet that she's making anything more than scarves.
Right.
We all start with scarves.
Right.
But she's doing great on her scarves.
And soon she'll be making these cute little piggies.
Are these the most adorable things? I think we need to name them, don't you? I think you have the girl because hers has flowers and this is the boy.
These are so cute.
So I think this should be Penelope. And this could be...
I could do Penelope.
Wilbur.
Oh,
Wilbur.
I love Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard it.
So
now,
cute.
how did you get started with Premier Yarns?
You know what? This is such a serendipitous story, and I think that the message for anybody, you know, watching this interview is you never know. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to let the world know what your passions are. There was a point in my career when I was at NBC anchoring the Today Show, they actually didn't want People magazine to do a story about me having a baby because, quote, this would typecast me in a motherhood role and be negative for my career. So if being a mom is perceived by my bosses as a career negative, you know, telling them that I knit and crochet would be like putting a gun to my head and pulling the trigger. So I kept quiet about it. But as I've gotten older and realized just how much of my own serenity comes from the talent of doing this, I'm like, you know what, the heck with those people. It is part of who I am. Embrace it, talk about it. And I got an email out of the blue. I'm very findable. You Google my name, it goes to my website, you click on the mailbox, it goes to my BlackBerry. I'm very findable. And I got an email out of the blue from one of the principals here at Premier Yarns. And he said, we understand you enjoy knitting and sewing. We're thinking about expanding our line, and would you like to talk to us? I thought it was a bunch of baloney, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of wackos out there in cyberspace. Well, they weren't wackos, they were serious. And the crazy thing is, my father knew the gentleman who had reached out to me. Remember, I come from carpet business.
Right.
My hometown is the carpet capital of the world. This gentleman has actually called on people in my hometown, and my dad knows him. So I'm like, whoa, this is real. So as it progressed forward, we worked with yarns. They would send me samples. I would work with them like, ooh, the twist doesn't hold. This isn't good. I don't think we can do this. I'm thinking, I want to work, and it's not. But they said, nope, we don't like that product either. We agree with you. And we worked for over a year to develop a line of 4 yarns that are machine washable, that are super, super soft. I mean, you feel this and you think, whoa, cashmere.
I'm gonna walk away with
I know, I'm gonna keep an eye on you so you don't take that. But it's both a pleasure to feel after you've worked it up, but as the knitter, as the crocheter, when you're working with it, it's a pleasure to have in your hands. And so,
Wonderful.
again, it goes back to the name is Serenity. We feel like the whole experience should be a positive one.
Right.
As you're knitting, you really are thinking of the person that you're making the project for, whether it's yourself or somebody you love. So there is a smile in every stitch, and I think that's
cute.
important.
I love that. There's a smile in every stitch. And it's great. I mean, you feel it. It's wonderful to work with. It's peaceful, just like you said.
Thank you.
I'm so glad we got to come over here and see you.
I'm
Thank
delighted,
you so much
yeah. And the
for sharing all your
website
great
is
designs.
premieryarns.com,
Okay.
and my website is dnorville.com, and I really am. Email me, you'll hear back.
Wonderful. Well, thank you
Thank you so
much.
much.